Hey you guys! To start off with, how many serial killers can you guys name? We'll give you 30 seconds. Alright, do you guys have your list? How many women are up there? That's right, 0. So, the reason why we did Kill Bill is because she is one of the few serial killers that are actually popular. So to start off with, we're going to do character descriptions. Oh, the movie summary. So if you guys haven't seen Kill Bill, it's a movie about a woman who has just woken up from a coma, and she basically tries to seek out everyone who has wronged her, and she kills them. Alright, one of the main characters is Elle Driver, and she's found in the first scene of the movie. And she is hired by Bill, who we'll introduce later, to basically kill Black Mamba, and that's her main role. Wait, can you go back one slide? Also, it should be noted that with this character, she is very attractive, even though she has one eye covered up. In one of the scenes, she's in a sexy nurse outfit. And even though she is this killing woman, she still has a seductive side to her, and she's a very sexualized figure. Okay, Vernita Green, her alias is Copperhead. She leads a normal life because she's now a stay-at-home mom. Her husband is a doctor, and whenever Black Mamba goes to visit her, she goes to visit her in her house to kill her. And the funny thing about this scene is that they are basically very cordial with each other before they start to fight, and they drink coffee together for a minute, and you can still see how they have that type of domesticated feel to them because they are in the kitchen during this whole scene, and then the fight takes place. Okay. This is one of the first Asian characters that we are introduced to. His name is Hattori Hanzo, and he is the one who makes the sword for Black Mamba in order to kill Bill, because Bill is actually an ex-student of Hattori, and they didn't get along. We are not really sure what happened in their relationship, but he has given up his past life of killing, and the only time that he does make it back up is whenever Black Mamba visits him, so she can find the weapons to actually kill the person who wronged her the most. Oren Ishii is her alias is Cottonmouth. We find out that her parents died in front of her, and one of the things that happened in one of the scenes is that she knows exactly the person who killed her parents, and then she is the one who takes vengeance by killing the people who killed her parents. She is very sensitive about her ethnicity because she is half Asian and half Caucasian, and she also chops somebody's head off because they do ridicule her for her ethnicity, and she tells them, you know, this isn't something that I should be made fun of, and she says if anybody tries to do it again, I'll basically kill you guys too, and I won't be afraid of doing it. And it's very funny, this scene, because she's very calm at first, and then she just chops the guy's head off, and then she's just calm again, and it's very, I guess, lighthearted almost. No word for it. Okay, now we're introduced to the main character, and her name, she goes by The Bride, and her alias, her killing alias, I guess, is Black Mamba. While she was in a coma, she was raped repeatedly, and I do believe this happened in a 4-year span, so she was just constantly being raped, and whenever she woke up for the first time, someone was about to sexually assault her yet again. She believes before she went into the coma, she was pregnant, and she was at a chapel about to get married, and Oren Ishii, the character that we were just introduced to, she actually killed her baby, or at least that's what Black Mamba believes. And she is extremely aggressive, and she knows how to fight, and she knows how to defend herself. yet at the same time, she's very cordial whenever she's fighting. She always makes sure that it's going to be an equal fight, and she doesn't fight anyone that's less than her. And here's a video clip. And this is the fight between Vernita Green and Black Mamba that was taking place at the home. It was very, like the housewife, very cordial feel to it.
Baby.
Mommy, can I go turn on the TV room?
Oh. That good for nothing dog of yours? Got his little ass in the living room and acted a damn fool. That's what happened, baby.
Mommy did this?
Baby, now you can't come in here. There's broken glass everywhere and you could cut yourself. This is an old friend of Lonnie's. I ain't seen in a long time. Hi, honey. What's your name? What's your name? Her name is Nikki. Nikki. Such a pretty name for such a pretty girl. How old are you, Nikki? Nikki? It's just your question.
I'm 4.
4 years old, eh? You know, I had a little girl once. She'd be about 4 now. Now, baby, me and Mommy's friend got some grown-up talk to talk about. So you can go in your room now, and I want you to leave us alone till I tell you to come out. Okay? Nakia, in your room now. You want some coffee? Yeah, sure.
Okay, and we didn't really recognize until we were actually discussing this movie in full, but they bleep out the bride's name, her actual name,
Miss Cassidy, the homemaker's name.
during this scene, and that's really significant in itself because it's almost as though she doesn't have an actual identity besides her assassin identity. And finally, we have Bill, and his name is the snake charmer. He's almost the alpha male. He's an older white gentleman who's telling all of these people to keep Black Mamba out of his way and to basically do anything that they can so that Bill and Black Mamba actually don't meet. And it's really ironic that his name is the Snake Charmer, and all of the women assassins have snake names. So that's significant in itself, because it's almost like he's manipulating them to do whatever he wants because he knows that he can do it. And that's all for me. Oh, just kidding. So I also wanted to discuss Asian representation within this film, because we only see 2 types of Asians in this film and also in media in general. So we have the almost geeky, fun-loving, emasculine type of Asian. Is that? Okay. And then we have the superhero, super aggressive, super violent type of Asians that are always depicted in media. And this movie does the exact same thing. One of the men in the film, he's made fun of because, you know, he can't really speak as properly as the assassins do, and he is basically a waiter for them. And they call him Charlie Brown, and they just make fun of the way that he looks and the way that he laughs. And while all of the other Asians that are depicted in the film are basically just really fun-loving and happy and are there to please the assassins and are there to please the stronger Asians around them. All right, and then Audricia's going to take the next slide.
Okay, so here we'll talk a little bit, basically a little bit more in depth about what Amber just talked about. So we're gonna talk about how domesticity was maintained throughout. So you have the original attack, which is a quick video clip we're gonna show. Edit that part. What? No, we're not. Okay, so the original attack, I was just gonna show you that she was pregnant, which, spoiler alert, she was pregnant when the assassins came in to attack her, and that's all I wanted to show, was that they were really ruthless, they didn't care, they just went in there and, sprayed down the chapel where she was about to get married. Then there's Vernita, and like the scene you just seen, her daughter was there, so the domesticity was maintained, and it was all for the sake of the daughter, because as you saw in the video scene, they were fighting, and when the daughter got off the bus, they stopped, and then everything became real cordial because she didn't want her daughter to see those things. So, that's a feminine trait, to be motherly and caring. She offered her coffee, real cordial, because her daughter came. So then after the attack, as stated before, the bride found herself in a coma for 4 years, and she was being raped repeatedly. But all this was done by a male nurse, which was, very ironic. He was selling her body for like $75, not even a lot of money, which is ridiculous. And so it just made me think that as a woman, being in a coma, she wasn't useful because women cook, women clean, women care for kids. So being that she was in a coma, she wasn't useful, but the male nurse found a way to make her useful by using her body and making a profit off of it, which is ridiculous. I'm not condoning it in any way, but that was just how he found a way to use the woman's body. Then, after her coma, she was in a coma for 4 years, so that's like being asleep for 4 years. So she woke up. No one looks pretty when they wake up, but being asleep for 4 years, could you imagine how that may look? So she woke up, she was sweaty, really looking, but it was still like a beautiful, sweat. She didn't look bad. So they still made her appearance was still very important, even though she was just coming out of a coma. So after waking up, she was in shock, she woke up. But the very first thing she did, right here in this picture, she reached for her stomach. That was the very first thing she did. So even after being, out of it and not in tune with what's going on in the world, the first thing that she did when she woke up, or the first thing she remembered when she woke up, was her baby and the fact that she was pregnant 4 years ago. And motherly instinct, female characteristic, she reached for her stomach, where's my baby? So when she woke up, after her coma, there was 2 men, the guy that she was being raped, like Amber said, she woke up in the middle of it, and then the male nurse came in. She woke up from a coma, her legs were dead, they took a while to get back in tune with the rest of her body. So she still managed to beat these men up with no legs, just 2 arms. I think she killed the guy that was gonna rape her, and she beat the nurse in the head with no legs. So that was pretty decent, because the whole movie is about, basically there's Bill and another guy, but the movie is basically centered around females, and she did this with no legs. She went to the car, she took the nurse's car, and when she got to the car, in contradiction to her beating up the nurses, she got to the car, she was trying to get in with her arms, and it took forever. I know I don't have any upper body strength. I'm pretty sure a lot of girls don't. I can't do a pull-up, I can't do a push-up. But, just in contradiction of her beating these guys up, they, highlighted the fact that she couldn't really get in the car with just her arms, which I probably wouldn't be able to do either. That's pretty hard. Then there was a female band. Her encounter later on in the movie with Oren Ishii, there was an all-female band, which stood out to me a lot because most bands have like a guy drummer or a guy on guitar, but it was three or four, I don't know, but they were all female and they were like rocking out, and that was pretty cool in the movie. And her appearance gradually changed into something real sexy. She had the tight little yellow bumblebee suit that you've seen on the first page, and if you've seen the movie, you've seen, you know, I guess it has to be tight so you can move around quick, but she became real sexy soon after her coma. Okay, so then there's Oren Ishii. She witnessed both of her parents' homicide at a very young age, 9 years old. Because she witnessed this, she set out to avenge her parents' killers, and that was Matsumoto, I believe. So because of this incident, like I said, that's how she became involved with the Deadly Viper Assassination Squad. So to avenge her parents' killers, she had to become his victim. He was a pedophile. So I thought it was really interesting that she couldn't just be tough and go out and get him. She had to become his victim and was nearly, raped, used, and abused, or, whatever he does with his victims. That almost happened to her, but she had to go through all of that just to get to him, just to kill him. Well, I mean, it has its pluses and its deltas because she was able to get him, but she had to put herself at a very low place to do that. She became his victim, and he was a pedophile. So the Black Mamba is the bride, and Oren Ishii. When they fought, if you've seen the movie, you've seen that she had this huge army of people to protect her, her bodyguards. And when it was time, when she came into the place and they discovered her, Black Mamba, the bride, was just slicing and dicing these men, out, nothing. But when it came down to Oren Ishii and her closest bodyguard, it was female, so it was two females, and those were her toughest fights in the movie. The guys, she sliced and diced, and when it came to these two, it was a longer, drawn-out battle. So that's a good thing as far as gender representation, because she was able to knock the men out. When it came to the women, it was tougher. So again, females are really strong in this movie. And then right back to domesticity. Oren Ishii, she was the leader of a council. I can't remember. It was the Bad People Council, basically. All they did was kill people. But she was the leader of this group. And like Amber said, a guy stated something about, where things were going, being that she wasn't 100% Japanese. She was American, Chinese, and Japanese. And she commits to chopping his head off. And he's like, don't play with me. So although she was the leader of this council and she was greatly looked up to by her people below her, she still was a female and acted solely on emotion to chop this man's head off because he stated that she wasn't full breed. So that's it.
Hey guys, it's Megan. I'm going to talk about the article that we found to go with our topic. It's called Visual Representations of Violent Women. And this article just covers general issues in contemporary consumer culture, mainly about violent women, which is why it tied in so well with our topic of Kill Bill. This article analyzes women and how they have been portrayed in history, but also how they are portrayed in our media today. Today we see violent women in our media being portrayed very glamorously, and some say that this is creating an empowering image for women, while others are arguing that it's making a mockery of women. So the article gives an example of violent women in history, and for those of you who don't know what Abu Ghraib is, this was a prison during the war in Iraq, where the U.S. Army and the CIA was basically charged with committing several human rights violations against these detainees in the prison. There was a lot of talk about the women being shown in the media, the women soldiers, of, the violence that they are committing on these men. And of course, this was a huge deal, and this was very shocking and gruesome because these are women. Not that this is just a, generally very terrible event, but a lot of light was put on the fact that they were women. These images were very shocking and disturbing, as we saw on the last slide. This goes against everyone's belief that a woman should be nurturing, and it really added to the idea that gender is a learned response from your environment. And why would a female soldier react any different than a male soldier would in this particular example? The article goes on to talk about female on male violence, and studies have shown that women are more likely to be a lot more aggressive in an intimate domestic relationship than men. The article likes to entertain the thought that, this is because of the media portraying women in this new light. And they're basically wondering if women are taking advantage of this gender bias. A statistic mentioned in the article that I found super, super important to realize is that an estimated 50% of male domestic violence cases are not even reported. Because, for a man, that's very demasculinizing to report that you're being abused by a woman, which I just find very interesting, and I think that media such as Kill Bill and things that portray violent women in this way are not helping this issue at all. Like, this is making it a lot harder for men to come forward with these problems. The side of the article that is supporting that these images are seen as empowering women and liberating women, this is talking about how this was during a rise of liberal feminism that says that men and women should be participating in the same activities and should be equal in that way. Liberal feminism, basically, if you don't know, it focuses on a woman's ability to maintain their own equality through their own actions and choices. And I have a video clip just to demonstrate how it can show an empowering view of women. Sorry.
We could tell you
Okay,
about
of
the
course
years
there's
of
an ad.
research and development, forged advanced high-strength steel to make the frame stronger yet lighter. But until you get behind the wheel, you have no idea. The completely redesigned Hyundai Sonata.
Okay, so here we get a pretty good idea of, what we're talking about. She's looking all rough and tough and, doing her thing. But the other side of the debate here is arguing that these violent women in the media are still being geared towards the male gaze. I mean, as we saw earlier and as we saw in the clip, like, she's covered in blood, but I mean, her hair still looks good and her outfit's still tight, and you can still see all the curvature of her body. Like, that is being geared towards a man's attention. And with that, I mean, throughout the whole movie, you see just the repetition of swords that they're using to fight. These are all things that are geared towards men. So, well, I guess that's it. I hope you guys have enjoyed our presentation. Thank you. As we can all see by Uma's swanky little yellow outfit, violent women in this movie particularly are portrayed as very overly sexualized, very glamorous. I mean, if I were out killing people left and right, I don't think I would want to be wearing something that tight and low cut, but that's, you know, that's the way they're portraying women. And that really, like, in the article, they question, is this creating an empowering image about women? Like, are women seeing this, seeing her in this outfit, seeing all the women in this movie portrayed like this and say, like, yeah, like, go women? Or are they looking at it saying, why can't women be powerful without objectifying themselves? So that's a really interesting question that the article talks about.